You have come to the right place. We are pleased, proud, and privileged to present to you Blue Collar Crypto Show by Tim Torosian. We have our very energetic host, Jim Bannon, and we are indoctrinating and onboarding our newest team member, Christine. Jim, take it away. What's going on with the show, and what is Blue Collar Crypto Show, Jim?
Well, we are going to keep the history that Tim had created. And don't get scared with the word crypto, because the real goal is to take blue collar people who want to have another life other than having to rely on their employer for a paycheck. And today that covers everything from a side job, to being what they call a side hustle, to actually spending the time to invest time and money and expertise to create your own company. Little scary, but there's a lot of entrepreneurs out there. And once they do it, I've yet to meet an entrepreneur who said that was the worst decision I ever made. They all say it's the best. Now, Christine is a bookkeeper and an accountant, and I confess to her, just like I do for, the old booth at the Catholic Church. You go there on Saturday, bless me, Father, for I have sinned. I am terrible when it comes to expense accounts and bookkeeping and checking accounts. So I'm going to hire her. But she, in addition to that, just think of her as the lady with the huge heart. Mother Teresa might be a little bit of a stretch, but from what I've learned about her, it's pretty close, because she's had a tragic life, and she pays it forward with trying to help people that have gone through the trauma she's gone through. So she is also a peer support specialist. And if it's PTSD or suicide or medical problems, she's much more than just a bookkeeper and accountant. But I'm going to give her the stage here in a minute, and we're going to focus on just two things. How important have somebody as an expert in the financials with your business, because otherwise you're not going to have a business. I think it's 90% of all businesses fail in the first 5 years. And in the first year, I think it's as much as more than 50. So she's going to prevent that. She'll be a great resource to you, because I'm certainly going to tap into her and have her be a great resource to my 5 companies. Now, there's been a lot going on with ICE. I'm not going to get negative or talk about controversy. I do everything positive. And I've been arrested like 12 times in the last year. And I've made police departments my latest clients. So I'm going to show you how we bring back the love of the police department and first responders, that the guys who grew up in their and girls, 50s, 60s, and 70s, we all wanted to be a cop or a fireman. And we're going to go back to that, because this program is called hashtag Be Loving, the letter B, the word loving, and it's my friend is a cop. So we'll get into that. But I am going to pass the microphone over to Christine. Christine, give us the Reader's Digest for somebody who's currently working. They're exploring crypto, they're exploring software, they're exploring social media, they're trying to learn about all the regulations, all the things that it takes to start a business. And why would you be their most important partner from day one, the day they make that decision? Why do they want you before anybody else?
The reason they want me is because I got a master's degree in business before I ever went to college, because I was raised around entrepreneurs. I am just a second generation American, and I was raised around people who had virtually nothing and had to create a pathway to support themselves, their family, the dog, their neighbors, their community. And they were not afraid to work. Today, in the age of social media, there are so many people out there who have written books or have podcasts or the special programs that they offer to help entrepreneurs. And I have known people that have spent as much as $450,000 in a year following some of these, renowned business experts, and they didn't learn anything. And I actually like to help people from the ground up. And what I am trying to change in America is the way small businesses interact with accounting services. Because when somebody does have a dream or an idea and they want to start their business, the first thing they're looking to do is not to hire a bookkeeper or an accountant. That is down the road when we're making more money, etc. But I tell people, if you are spending $1 on building your business, you need an accountant, because the most common way I get pulled into these small businesses is when there is an error, a problem, a tax audit, a horrible thing that happened that I could have helped prevent. So I have plans that start as low as $99 for an entire year or $30 a month for just a new company starting out. And granted, if you grow to where you have 5 employees and you're doing sales tax in 10 states, it's not $30 a month. But my theory is if I start with you and I grow with you, you're going to stick with me. And I actually even have some consulting services to help people launch their business that don't cost anything. I'm happy to have a conversation with anybody for no charge at all, because sometimes just starting off on the right foot is the difference between success and failure. And there are a lot of good books and resources out there, but there's also a lot of really bad ones. And one of the underutilized things is something as basic as a written business plan. And so on my website, I actually offer ways that they can help build a business plan. And as a personal decision, I have, when people have asked me, can you help me write my business plan so I can get this loan? I will not write your business plan, but I will help you refine your business plan, because the importance of writing a business plan is that you can save yourself a lot of money by making mistakes on paper and working things out and having a written plan. And a written plan is just a guide or a resource that can be tweaked and changed over time. And after you have a business plan, then you need to have a marketing plan and a strategic implementation plan. And there's a couple other things that separate successful businesses from those that fail. And my secret power is I am able to take complex accounting ideas, and sometimes people who I work with that already have businesses and they have a CPA, they're afraid to ask their CPA questions because it's going to start, the clock's going to start ticking and they're going to start being charged a huge amount to talk to their CPA and not even understand what their CPA is saying. So I actually explain accounting services and terms in very basic, easy to understand language that the entrepreneur can understand. And I kind of equate something as simple as the chart of accounts to be what you learned in kindergarten, where you had cubbies for everything. Your crayons go here, your books go over here. And that's all that the chart of accounts is for accounting. You're putting, the phone bill in the phone cubby, and you're putting the electric bill in the electric cubby. And I want to help people make the world a better place by getting the support entrepreneurs need to launch their business and have it become successful. Because becoming $1 million business is not impossible, but it is impossible if you do not have a good person who understands accounting to help guide you through that process.
So would it be fair if I call you the vaccine lady? So people that are starting a business need to take the vaccine first before they get sick and are on their deathbed. Is that correct? They need to call you first, even before their sales manager, right?
Definitely, because you need to know where every dollar is going, and you need to make sure you're making a good decision on where that money is going. And so I've never thought of it that way, but I like the way you think. Yes, I might have to steal that idea.
And you're creating a pathway. They don't have to quit their blue collar job. They can have a side hustle. They just need experts around them that have taken this pathway before so that they can just follow in the tracks of those that have been successful. And you have followed hundreds, if not thousands, of pathways. So you have the experience. You know the pitfalls. You know where the wolf hides behind the rock. That's your expertise, correct?
Definitely. I have seen it all. And for me, I just absolutely love watching a client go from a startup to their first $1 million revenue year that they never thought was a possibility, that I get as excited as if it were, um, you know, as if I were financially invested in that company. And one of the other things that I am doing that is revolutionary, and years ago, nobody knew who Google was. Now everybody knows what Google is. And I think in 5 years' time, everybody's going to know what unagme.com is. And what I have going to be doing for the people that are my clients is a lot of businesses do not have websites because, it can be expensive. There's a lot of problems with it and figuring it out. Well, what I am doing is giving people between a 1 and 3 page website that is a subdomain in a case. And then when they are ready to launch into their own website, they've pretty much waived all the startup costs because we can roll over those 3 pages into their own website, and it's just as little as $10 a month. And
Wow. Okay,
because
you and I are going to partner up on this. But you said you were a second generation American, so you
yes,
know what it's like to fight from the beginning. You don't need a silver spoon. You don't need $1 million in your bank account. You just need to work hard, reach out to people in areas that you don't understand. Now, let me ask you a very indelicate question. Are you out of your mind? You are
well,
consulting for free? Did I hear pro bono? What's
well,
wrong with
here,
you, lady?
you want to hear my even wilder dream? Is that when I plan on being the #1 accounting firm in the United States, which within the next 3 to 5 years, and with the trajectory I'm on, I can probably do it in 2. With your help, maybe it's going to be even faster than that. But what is my ultimate dream goal is, because I've also worked with a lot of entrepreneurs or a lot of people with good ideas who money is stopping them, or the fear of not being able to provide for their family. In some cases, people, $10,000 is what separates them from their dream. Other people, it's like, I need to do this, but I can't do it as a side hustle. I have to be all in to do it. And I don't know how I'll support my family for a year while I build up my business. What I want to do is I want to give people the whatever the magic number is that they need to fulfill their dream, provided they have sold me on the passion and the purpose of their dream and they're sincerely committed. So it's not like I just give money away blindly to people, but that if I believe in your dream and I support it, I will give you whatever amount of money it is that you need to, take the year off work and write that novel or do whatever it is that you're going to do. The only commitment that I ask of you is, if you are successful in achieving your dream, that when you're in a position to do so, that you pay the same amount or more towards someone else who has a dream. And
Oh,
I want to change the
you
world
mean
doing that.
pay it forward with random acts of kindness? Is that what I just heard you say?
That is very true. And I can say, as being an accountant, that I've worked with a lot of accountants and high profile, people in this industry who think that this shows that I am crazy, because I also want to take away from Berkshire Hathaway the title of being the highest single entity taxpayer into the United States government, because the first time I did a tax return in my youth, I was certified to do tax returns for the elderly and the affirmed before I graduated from high school. So I was playing CFO back when my friends were playing with Barbies. I've always been a numbers person. That's one of my strengths. And
And
when
the other thing that I admire about you is that a lot of people go to somebody like you and say, "Hey, I'm going to give you all the problems. You do all the work." You're saying, "No, I'm not stupid. This is not my first rodeo." You're not going to write their business plan. So they gotta be all in. They got to learn how to write a business plan, right? You're
yes,
forcing that.
well, you know what I will also reveal in here is that one of the powers that I have with um, launching my business, and I've had a successful accounting firm for decades, and I put it on all on hold to work for a national company that, I thought they would help me build out this vision to transform bookkeeping for small businesses. And they were already a multi-billion-dollar company, and I thought that they were going to be able to do it faster. And instead, I got a front row seat on how to do it wrong. And I'm back in my own driver's seat. But in order for me to ethically do my work with that company, I had to let go of every single one of my accounting clients. And so I'm back to ground zero. So I am just like the businesses that I'm helping. I am starting with zero customers and building my empire every day, doing things. I have an advantage because I know how to do it. I've done it before. I can do it again. I'm comfortable in doing it. But the fact that uh, there, the things that you need to do are predictable, and you have a plan and you can do it. And I absolutely am committed to changing the world because I'm not going to run for president anytime soon. But the way I'm going to change the world is one business owner at a time, because that ripples into their family, into their employees, the community they serve, and our world in general. It's going to make our
Now,
world a better place.
what you did teach me is the importance of a chart of accounts. You call them cubby holes. I like that. And QuickBooks is kind of the juggernaut. So you use that plus other software. So that's the part that they really can delegate to you, right? If I hired you, I could say, "Hey, I don't want to deal with chart of accounts, QuickBooks. You take care of that," and you will do that. Is that correct?
Yes, and I work with my clients to whatever level they need. Some clients, they just want me to handle all the accounting thing. I just give them, some reports and some updates, and others want to actually understand their numbers and learn from it and grow. So wherever the company is, I can help them. But the single thing that is important, regardless of the size of the company, is I have to believe you're an honest person trying to build a company that improves the world in some capacity, whether you're
Good for
serving the
you.
best
I
cup of
love your
coffee.
heart.
And
Now, let me understand. Obviously, for the more of your professional time you provide, the higher the rates are going to be. But your opening deal was $99 startup and $30 a month. So to me, that looks like $460 a year. Is that correct?
that is correct, but I have some people who it can be as little as that $99 for an entire year, because I'm banking on you that when you, for example, when you have somebody who's decided they want to start a lawn maintenance business, I could probably do an entire year's worth of bookkeeping for them in a couple of hours at the end of the year. They do not need in-depth, fancy bookkeeping, but as they grow and now they have, 10,000 lawns they're mowing and they've got 15 employees, it's going to cost a few dollars more, but they're going to stay with me. And I have, in my entire 40 plus year career, I have never lost a single client due to a pricing or service issue. And although I had been in entrepreneurial things at various stages in my life, I was a manufacturing goldsmith and gemstone dealer and did a lot of things. But my last official job when I was, because when I, in my youth, I thought I wanted to break away from the family business and all the stuff that I had known. And I wanted to be working with the large international companies and the multi-million dollar budgets and all of that stuff. And I realized at some point in time I didn't want to do that. And my last formal job, I was working for a bank and I was in charge of their merchant portfolio because back in the day, if you wanted credit card processing, you had to go to your bank to get it set up. And I was one of the first people on the planet to be licensed by Visa and MasterCard to set merchants up for credit card processing. So I left my
Wow,
bank.
that's a big
And
deal today. Now, let me focus on two other things that you surprised me, Miss Vaccine Lady. Um, you're going to build a 1 to 3 page website, and um, you're going to give free consulting. My God, nobody on earth does that. As far as I know, Vaccine Lady, you're the only one.
that is correct. But the reason I'm going to do that is because I believe if as a matter of fact, I want to get to where any client that works with me that is actually involved in their business and, we're working together to grow it, to expand it, that within 5 years that they are either a 500,000 in revenue or $1 million in revenue. And I think that I can do that because there is no reason why, whatever your business idea is, there is no reason why it cannot become a multi-million dollar business. And the only reason why any of my clients will not have million-dollar businesses is because they choose that they just want the $400,000 coffee shop. That's what they
No, I
want.
understand. Yep, I run across them every day here in Globe. Now, I don't want to talk about me. This is all about you. But I did buy a metaverse company with Dr. John Colares, who was senior professor at DeVry Keller Graduate School of Management. He was on the younger the younger Bush's leadership and education committees for 5 years, and he was voted #1 professor in the world by UNESCO. And he built $100 million Ariston University, and he's moving it over onto my metaverse. And I love what he says. He doesn't teach people, he facilitates learning. In his other phrase, and this is unbelievable in today's market, get a degree and graduate debt free. Can you imagine getting either a bachelor, a master's, or a PhD from Ariston University and fully accredited, not pay a penny in back taxes, back loans? Isn't that amazing? So we are bringing that to Kenya, we're bringing that to Bangladesh, and we're bringing it to America. Now, I want to close on these topics. So I think we've covered everything. Do you perform the functions? There's an SBA, Small Business Association, and then there's one that I went to by the community college. It's got 4 letters. I think it's like CDSC. Does that ring a bell with you?
There's the SBDC.
That's it.
Yes.
SBDC. Would you please describe who they are? It's absolutely free. What do they do? How will that be free, hand in glove with what you're doing?
Well, it's funny because I'm actually in active talks with SCORE and the Small Business Development Corp that doing workshops and doing things with them. I was really appalled to find out that I live about an hour north of the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco, pretty popular business area. And our SCORE chapter, which covers from Marin County line all the way up to the Oregon border, they do not do any live workshops. And they have more volunteers that are willing to help businesses than they have businesses that are willing to be helped. And
Wow.
the small business department, they actually they're a little bit more active in my community, and I'm getting involved with some of their teaching. There are a lot of free resources out there to help businesses, and I am partnering with some of those government-funded entities to help put my clients in touch with some of those free resources. And then, of course, that even though I do volunteer for those organizations and I do help people with mentoring and nurturing of their business, that, I don't do everything for free, but I bring maximum value for everything that I get paid for. And I
Man,
sleep well at night.
you are lighting up so many bulbs on my Christmas tree. You are throwing all the switches. Um, I'll give you my brief story. I almost flunked out of UConn. I wanted to be an electrical engineer because that's the only way you could get a computer degree. Well, they kicked me out with a marketing degree and a 2.1 grade point average. And I thought that I was a hot dog because I was the youngest manager in the history of the McDonald's Corporation. I worked for Ray Kroc, not the franchise. And the movie is called The Founder with Michael Keaton. So and my girlfriend was in Louisville, Kentucky. So I walked into Kentucky Fried Chicken headquarters, 21 years old, college degree, a 2.1 grade point average. And I talked to the vice president of marketing and said, "You got to hire me." Well, he didn't think that that's what he wanted to do. And that upset me. That was the first brick wall I ran into. Oh, I'm glad Myron is in the waiting room. Let me admit him. Oh, I missed that button. Emily, would you please let him in? So, anyway, I am telling you a true story. He said, "Your resume sucks." So he rewrote my resume, let me use the Xerox machine. I went to work for Singer Business Machines, the third largest computer company in the world, when I was 21. And the reason he didn't hire me is I needed my master's degree. But that was when Hubline, Ham's Beer, took over KFC from J.Y. Brown. Now, J.Y. Brown made every one of his college buddies millionaires when he bought the company from the Colonel, and he sold it the week that I went in there to Hubline. And he became governor of Kentucky. He married Phyllis George, Miss America, and I lost my girlfriend. And I went with this little company called General Electric in Cincinnati, but that's a whole nother story. So, when I was with Singer Business Machine, they sent me to the Hyatt in Oakland. I was dating 2 Oakland Raiders. So I was over at Zach's across you know where Zach's is in South Toledo, and the turtle races on Tuesday. And I went down Lombard Street with 2 Oakland Raiders in an MG. And man, when she shifted, that was really a whole lot of fun. Uh-oh, they're going to ban me again. But now, fast forward, I'm 76 years old. Who hires a 76-year-old? I just got hired reporting to a director of a $750 million Japanese pharmaceutical company who's paying me 60 grand and a 5% override. I don't even have a master's degree. But I got a phone call from Golden State University, and they fell in love with me. They followed me up like 3 times. They wanted to give me a doctorate in business. Can you imagine? These people have got bad judgment. But I want a little bit of time to do this hashtag be loving. And then I want you and I to talk about, please go in the chat. This is really important. And Myron, you too, because I will pay you both 70% commission. And that could be thousands or tens of thousands. In the chat is, and write it down while I'm talking, both of you, please. ROI. Everything I do is ROI. And then it's track without the K, TRAC.com. So my whole domain is ROItrack.com. Only spent $1.3 million building it, 15 years and all that crap. Then it's followed by a slant, and it's always 5 characters, never more, never less, and they are not case sensitive. So in the chat, you'll see ROItrack.com/2, M is in multi, F is in Frank, P is in phone, H is in hotel. You see it? ROItrack.com/2 MFPH. If not, write it on a piece of paper. That's your homework. The next time I talk to you, I'm going to ask you one question. Did you go through that? Because it's worth about 10 grand. That is a chamber lunch and learn program, self-guided. You don't need to go to the chamber. You don't need to pay them. You don't need to waste an hour of your day, but it will change your world. and I will pay you 70% commission because we are going to contact the executive director of every chamber of commerce in the United States. I've already done that with 4 states. So, Marvin, there's where you're going to get the money to build your company. Now, hashtag be loving my friend's a cop. I am going to have to put that off for another day because Emily's probably going to tell me we're running out of time. But please go to Facebook and type hashtag the letter B loving. That's number 1. And Christine, you already did it when you scanned it. So please write down the link. You can do it yourself. You can figure it out yourself. It is ROItrack.com/227 Foxtrot Zebra. And that is the best thing I've built in my 76 years. It will revolutionize policing in America. My next account, and there's only 7 officers, by the way, and I'm taking forever to get the city council to sign off because the town manager and the mayor hate each other. And I was there in the public meeting and the lawyer was threatening the mayor. If he didn't stop doing what he was doing, they would arrest him because we have open meeting laws here. And I go to the council meetings because, oh, here's a tip for small businessmen. Get to know your government. You have a legal right to 3 minutes in front of that town council, and I take it up a lot. They all know me. Everybody knows me in Pinell County, in Ela County, and now Maricopa County, which is Phoenix. Take that 3 minutes. It's the best free advertising you'll ever get because they got to record it. They got to put it up on YouTube. And what do I do for a business, Christine?
I don't know that I could say it in a sentence. You could say it
Okay,
faster.
I am Budget Video for Biz Incorporated. I'm a video producer. So when you give me video on YouTube, guess what I do with it? I spread it around the internet. And that's why this hashtag be loving my friend is a cop is going viral. So to wrap up, drive people to that website, call to actionsymbol.net. I will pay you 30% by PayPal immediately for doing nothing. If you want to make 70% commission, I can train you in under an hour. Let's talk about that separately. And if you want to do the lunch and learn, you don't need me. You can figure it out. Just open the file, ROItrack.com/2MFPH. And I am done. Now, Myron, did you get smarter while you were gone?
A little bit. I got you.
So how long is it going to take you to hire Christine? If you say anything more than 5 minutes, I will pour water over your head.
No, I'm gonna talk to Miss Christine. I'm gonna call her so we can sit down and do
All
a
right,
fit.
now I'm going to cuss you out. You know what you did?
What's that?
There's only 2 things I will not put up with. One is people lying to me, and you'd never do that. But you did the other one. You ghosted me. I could have
No,
made you thousands of dollars already, my man.
oh
You
man,
need
I
to
work
book
at.
me.
I know I work at nighttime, so I'm
Oh,
not
don't tell
ghosting.
me about that. I run 5 world-class companies. So
I
anybody who
work.
says they're too busy, yesterday's their last day on my board. You and
No,
I
no,
need to get your
listen.
company
I'm
up and running.
no, I'm a CDL instructor, so
I
I'm
know you
all.
are. We had that discussion. I can help you
Yeah.
there too. Now,
So,
are you gathering that I am giving you tough love?
oh yeah, I got you.
All right. So thank
Ain't
you
no
for
hard
being
feelings,
here.
Mr. Jim. Ain't no hard feelings. I understand.
No.
But
Yeah, I'm going to get
I'm gonna
it
get
for
I'm gonna get
harassment
with you
again.
this week though. I
Yeah,
got some
please.
time.
Because I got electricity and air conditioning for a chance. So Christine
I
and Myron are going to swap spit. I know. I tell my board to do that. They say, "Are you out of your mind?" Well, when you were 14 and you had your first French kiss, there's nothing any more excited. I want you two to build a lifelong relationship. Swap spit. Will you both say yes, yes? Christine,
yeah.
Definitely.
yes.
Yes, yes. All
Oh
in.
yes,
Myron,
yeah.
now is
Miss
there anything
Christina, I
I
got
can
some
do?
stuff to talk to you about anyway, Miss Christina. So
I would love to, and you can see my phone number on the
I got you
screen.
already. I got you
Um,
locked in already.
Perfect. I'm happy to help. And, just it's a part of what I love. And you inspire me as well with your multiple businesses because I actually own 7 businesses at different levels of growing. Right now, the bookkeeping is uh, my prime focus at the moment, but I'm helping other people, and they all the businesses connect in a one large umbrella. But I think together that we
Oh,
can
I'm going to
all
interrupt you
change the
because we're
world.
running out of time. Do you know who created the happiest place on earth?
No.
Yes,
Oh.
What's his name?
Walt Disney.
Yeah, well, it's Lee Cockrell. So I'm going to give you both a homework assignment. You need to go up to YouTube and you need to do search on YouTube. It's not a website, it's films on YouTube. It's called Men of Abundance. And if you put a / on it, I am 071 and Lee Cockrell is / 199. We've been friends for 10 years. He gets $20,000 every time he steps on a stage. He built, and he doesn't have a college degree. He built the Disney Leadership Institute. He had 43,000 employees, and he was hired by General Austin to train the 2- and 3-star generals. And I'm trying to get him on my board of directors. So that's my goal for this year. And I've got a $200,000 contract for him. And one of my companies, Christine, is called Customer Service Excellence and Listening Training. We never teach people how to listen. So, Myron, I
Yes.
love you today. I think I'll love you tomorrow. Christine, I love you today. I think I'll love you forever. Emily, why don't you just end this podcast because you're the wonderful person behind the scenes that make this happen. Thank you for the opportunity to meet God's angels right here in my face.